Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Extra Point Show. Thanks for joining us again this week.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us. All right, so we got some extremely big news, a lot of retirement news going on,
Oh,
but
my
the
God.
biggest of all biggest
Oh, so shook
retirement
me.
news that could possibly happen, which we just found out about like 5 minutes ago, also to make it even better. Thomas Brady is
Thomas
retiring
Brady.
from the NFL.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You're hearing it
According
here first, folks.
according to Jason La Canfora of CBS Sports, so a reliable
It's
source.
a
Because at
reliable
first
source.
at first I was reading this and I'm like, I don't know. Let's see. But no, apparently 44-year-old Tom Brady, after his recent playoff loss, is retiring from the NFL.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, this is going to end the. I mean, I don't know that anybody's ever had a more storied career at the
I don't think
quarterback
anybody
position.
ever will, to
Yeah.
be
I
honest with
mean,
you. I mean, the
yeah.
amount of time, how old he, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sad to see him retire.
Yeah.
I really
It
was
is.
really
It is.
hoping he would just jump to another team. I don't really give a shit what team it is, really. I just, any
I was
team.
kind of hoping that he just at this point in this stage of his career become Tom Brady's Super Bowl mercenary, where
Yeah, right. Like
every year or two he just goes and wins the Super Bowl at a different
he's like,
location.
Washington hasn't won a Super Bowl in 30
Yeah,
years. I think
yeah.
I'm gonna go there and
And
try
then
and
maybe
win a
Tom
Super
signs with the
Bowl.
Lions. Maybe Tom signs with the
Right?
Lions and maybe the New York Jets.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're never gonna get to see that. One thing that is super cool is this year actually, at the last possible opportunity, you got to see him play live, which is super cool.
Yes, I did when I went to
Yeah.
DC to see them play. That was yeah. And what's funny is he had a really bad game that, so it's
Yeah.
like it's not like I even got to see him do anything spectacular, but just to see him go out on the field and to actually
Yeah.
see him there, and it was definitely, it was
It's
awesome.
historic. It's
Yeah,
historic. I
and
mean,
and
nobody.
now, like you were saying, it's not something you can do again. So once in a, I would say, well, not once in a lifetime. Man played for 20 damn years, but I didn't go to a football game for a really long time.
Yeah,
So like,
yeah,
given his age and now,
yeah,
for me, it was, if I didn't do it then that would
yeah,
have been it.
yeah. I mean, and we'll give we're gonna take some time and we'll put definitely give the man his props here for that career. 22-year career, 20 years with New England, 2 years with Tampa. Had a record in New England of 219 and 64. Had a record in Tampa of 24
Hmm.
and 9. That combines for 243 career wins, 73 losses. Nobody ever
Jesus.
tied Tom Brady. In 316 days games, you never got him. I mean, he either won or lost. You never tied Tom Brady.
You know what you got
Uh,
to do? Just put up that picture of Tom with all his rings on, going like this.
yeah, yeah, we'll put that up. 15-time Pro Bowler, 15-time Pro Bowler. Oh my God. And
That's
let's be
insane.
honest, he never played in half those Pro Bowls because he was.
Because he was in the
If
Super
if you go
Bowl.
to the Super Bowl, you don't play in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
7-time Super Bowl champ, literally half. Uh, he went to 9 total. Eli Manning denied him, 2 more rings.
Ah,
Good
yes,
on Eli.
yes.
5-time Super Bowl MVP. Um, a 3-time regular season MVP. Potentially 4 if he wins the MVP this year. It's either going to be him, probably Rodgers, but it could be him. Um, let's see here. 2009 comeback player of the year after his Achilles injury when he did miss. And yeah, like you touched on earlier, really only one season, 2008, when he tore his Achilles in game 1. When I mean he's not missed any time really. I mean he missed.
Yeah, that's really it. Like,
Yeah, there were a
I'm
couple
sure there's like
games.
a handful of games here and there
Yeah,
with minor injuries that he's
yeah.
missed, but yeah.
And then he got
Uh,
suspended for the potential, the deflate gate situation, which,
yes, yes.
who knows? Who knows how much you can. I remember that game. They beat the Colts like 45-7. How much does that really have to do with the deflating
Yeah,
football? I was like,
I know,
that sounds
right?
like an ass whooping either way. But yeah, moving on. Yeah,
One
I
other
mean,
thing I did want to say
go
though
ahead.
about with him retiring
Yep.
and all that, he did say he wants to make a decision, not too late, to take into consideration the Buccaneers being able to make plans going ahead without him.
Yeah.
So
Well.
even on his way out, he's kind of looking out, for the Buccaneers and their
Yeah.
organization.
He's a classy guy. He's always been like that. A guy that's always taken less money than he deserved so that his teams could sign core players. Always in New England. taking,
Right.
restructuring his deal so you can bring back your Edelmans, your Wes Welkers, your Vince Wilforks, So like he's always been the ultimate and consummate professional. Obviously, I think he'll be missed around the league. And maybe if you're hating on Tom Brady, maybe you just don't know all of what he's really brought to the game, and maybe you'll have that appreciation after he retires.
Although I will say, we say, oh, the ultimate professional and ultimate sportsman, and I'd be like, well, you know what? Not always.
I mean,
remember that one game when after the press conference he got so mad and left.
He throws tablets and stuff.
There's some better sportsmen out there probably than Tom Brady. I'm not saying he's not. He's the GOAT. He's
a great teammate. I'll say he's great to his teammates. I'm sure.
Right. I'm sure, but I think there might be somebody. Going and throwing tablets, man. Come on, Tom.
Fuck those tablets. Tom makes enough money that tablet is insignificant to him. Honestly, shit.
Yeah. So that's the biggest news really going on now. There's also obviously talk with Aaron Rodgers as well and what his future is going to be in Green Bay.
Yep.
There's nothing concrete on that or really anybody. Not anybody else, but at least on him in particular. But I could see it being his last year in Green Bay myself.
Yeah, I definitely could too. The relationship, it's been talked about all year how it's gotten better between Aaron and Green Bay management, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, it was interesting. They were the number 1 seed. Actually, should have brought this up earlier, but both number 1 seeds, the Titans and the Packers, both lost in their first playoff game. So that's
right.
It's funny that I mentioned that because sometimes, remember when I told you sometimes that week off fucks you up because you don't play a game and you get out of rhythm?
Yeah, you lose the rhythm. Exactly.
Exactly. But that's why, coming in as a wild card team, we're steamrolling motherfuckers as a 6 seed. And not steamrolling, but we're winning dirty football.
Yeah, you're winning fucking games. That's what matters.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. The Niners will, I think we got to get through the Rams and then we're back in the bowl. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers, obviously he's been linked to Denver. That was a place he was interested before Nathaniel Hackett got the job, and now he's really going to be interested. Obviously, there's going to be a large market for him, especially if Tom is, not available. Obviously, there's only going to be so many free agent quarterbacks available, and he's by far the best one. There's been talks about Russ, but Russ would have to be traded. Russ has 2 years left on his deal, so Russ isn't a free agent. So that would have to be, he'd have to be made available through Seattle. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Aaron. Another decision is, and I think that this one is kind of, riding on the wall now at this point with the news.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing as well.
Yeah. Now that we know that Tom is probably stepping away from the game, Gronk, I assume, will be stepping away from the game. Gronk has always said that he doesn't want to play with another quarterback other than Tom. And Gronk had already said at the end of the season that if he had to make a decision now, that he would retire. And now with this news, I'm
oh yeah, it's literally it's almost a for sure thing.
Yeah, I would assume so. We got the Gronk back for 2 seasons. I personally, obviously, living in Tucson, he's by far the best football player that ever went to the University of Arizona, I would say. He only played here, I want to say 1 or 2 seasons, but went on to the NFL pretty quick. And in his last 2 comeback seasons from New England, ended up playing a big role for them. In 2020, he caught 45 passes for 623 yards and 7 touchdowns in 16 games. In 12 games this season, he caught 55 passes for 802 yards and 6 touchdowns. So, and that's at, age 32. So, he's really stepping away, with an 11-year career at age 32. So still in pretty good shape. So,
man, this is really going to hurt Bucs fans. I got to feel like no Tom Brady, no Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
Jesus, it's going to be a sullen environment.
One thing I did want to mention
around Tampa
about that is back.
Oh my God, they're going to go back to being terrible.
Yeah, Who knows?
Oh
Who
man, who
knows?
knows? But Jesus,
Yeah.
that's a big hit though to the team.
So the landscape's going to look a lot different. We've also got we wouldn't be doing our jobs if we didn't mention also stepping away after 18 seasons is, Ben Roethlisberger, former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger, spent his entire 18-year career in the city of Pittsburgh, which is very hard to do for a professional athlete, so that's pretty
Hmm.
impressive. Um, Ben actually ranks second all time to Tom Brady for most wins with a single team. So, yeah, Ben stepping away after an 18-year career with a record of 165 wins, 81 losses, and one tie. That Oh, okay. Never mind. I would say that was this year, but against the Lions, that is.
Mm.
So Ben's
Hey, there was a last year though.
there was, and it was Pitt. It just he got Charleston 15.
Gotcha.
So yeah. I mean, talk about some of Ben's accomplishments. Roethlisberger, a six-time Pro Bowler, two-time Super Bowl champion, and coming off a season in which he started 16 games, threw for 22 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. So I mean, still threw for 3,700 yards. Not a terrible season. There were a couple games where the Steelers just looked pretty awful. But one I remember specifically was Week 14 when they were down like 29 to nothing to Minnesota. I I think you remember we covered this game and they came rallying back and lost like 36-28. So
Hmm.
I mean he still had a little bit of magic left in the tank. I mean obviously but you could tell that as the season wore on that it was just getting harder and harder for him to labor through the season with a lot of the injuries he's accumulated over the years.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I mean that's two starting quarterbacks out with Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger. So two teams that we know for sure are going to be in the market for new QBs. So just wanted to address that. A couple other players of note retiring are going to be Eagles guard Brandon Brooks retiring after 10 seasons. He had earned three straight Pro Bowls from 2017 to 2019, but in recent years, injuries have kind of derailed his once promising career. Um, he suffered a shoulder injury that forced him to miss the 2019 postseason, and then he also got wiped out by an Achilles injury in the offseason of 2020, so he missed the entire 2020 season. And then in week two of the 2021 season, he suffered a pectoral strain and was placed on IR. So keeps getting snake bitten with injuries. So Brandon Brooks is finally going to retire for the Eagles. Also, tight end Lee Smith retiring for the Atlanta Falcons. Their big blocking tight end also retiring, former Oakland Raider as well. So a couple other retirements to mention as well.
This week we have some head coaching news to get into. Four big ones to mention, starting with Sean Payton of the New Orleans Saints stepping down after 15 seasons as the head coach. Apparently, life after Drew Brees did not treat him quite as well as he expected. So I guess he decided it was time to hang up the towel. He did have a very good overall regular season record of 152 wins to 89 losses and a postseason mark of 9-8, which is also solid, including one Super Bowl victory and the 2006 AP Coach of the Year award in 15 total seasons.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, his hiring in 2006 did coincide with the free agent hiring of Drew Brees. So he literally had Brees his entire career
Yeah.
until this last season. So obviously, the Saints did still finish 9-8, so winning record. Obviously, they just barely missed the playoffs by virtue of losing out on the wild card spots to the Niners and the Eagles.
Mm.
So yeah, there were rumors about this that he was linked to the Dallas job. That maybe after Dallas's embarrassing early exit from the postseason, that maybe McCarthy would be released. And Sean Payton is a former Bill Parcells assistant in Dallas, so he's got history with the Jones family and everything. So he has expressed he said that he hasn't talked to anybody about head coaching jobs. Sean Payton potentially interested in getting into TV or the media for this season. Maybe going to take a year off of coaching, and then, I'm sure he'll be a hot name when Black Monday resurfaces next year. Everybody's going to want to get them some Sean Payton because he's a good coach.
His last words, though, coming out of New Orleans, Taysom Hill did not cut it.
Is like,
no, I made that up. If he actually said that, I was like,
did he say that? I was like,
if he actually said that, oh my God.
Yeah.
But no, like I've always loved Taysom Hill, just like with how dynamic a player he is. Like it's just he's fun to watch, and but it just when I heard he's going to be their starting quarterback, I think most people are like, really?
Yeah.
He's going to be your starting quarterback.
He's a good.
How do you foresee that going for you?
He's a good package. He's a good package guy, but it's like when you have to game plan for him, it's like it's a different situation.
It's totally different. Like he's not a starter. He's a great asset. Like I said, I always really liked watching him play. But I just feel like once Drew Brees left, I think he realized he's like, you know what, man, I've had a really, really fantastic coaching career, and if I leave now, it's not going to get any worse than it is.
Yeah.
So
Sean riding out on the sunset with a winning record. Not bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad. Yeah, and reported at least early reports to replace him are Saints defensive coordinator Dennis Allen is considered to be the leading candidate. Dennis Allen, of course, a former head coach a long time ago with the former Oakland Raiders. Didn't do very well. Got fired, but he was a lot younger at that point. So he's the leading candidate to replace them. And also Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn is also getting some consideration. Now, as you mentioned, we did have some other names.
Yeah, I remember there's three. I remember Denver, Chicago, and I've been sitting here trying to remember the other one, and I just fucking can't.
Oh, it's in your it's right under your nose. It's right in your division.
Wait. Oh, the Giants. Oh, thank you. God, how did I forget that?
The New York Football
Giants, the Broncos, and
the Bears.
The Bears. Chicago. I was trying to remember I was like thinking Chicago, but I was like right.
Yep. So they've all hired head coaches already. So the first three of the 9 now, with Peyton stepping down, there's 9 head coaching opportunity or openings. Now there are 6. The head coaches hired are going to be in New York, Brian Daboll, the former Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator, after his insane season and what he's done in developing and assisting young Joshua Allen down there in Orchard Park, New York. And so he is going to be taking over the Giants, hoping to smart move by the Mara family, maybe getting somebody in there that can, get inside the workings of DJ's mind, Daniel Jones. I mean, they're going to see if they need to pick up Daniel Jones' 5th-year option. Obviously, that's coming up.
That will be interesting to see, like what, because I feel like they're going to stick with Daniel Jones.
They are, and that's been reported. Yeah, so they've already said the GM that they're planning on moving forward. And what's interesting is they also hired somebody from Buffalo's front office. So they've got 2 people that have worked together in Buffalo, and Daboll, and I can't think of their new GM's name off the top of my head, but he's a young guy that they got from there. So, yeah, I mean, they are planning on moving forward with Daniel Jones. They aren't going to be drafting a quarterback. They believe in reloading around him. So that'll be interesting to see. Offensive mind, I think it'll be a good thing for him.
I honestly agree with that move. I mean, if I was the Giants, I mean, Daniel Jones has had his struggles and he's made his mistakes, but I mean, especially given the way the draft prospects look this year, I mean, really, that does seem like their best bet.
I think it's their best move to get Daboll, honestly, like him or like Eric Bieniemy. Yeah, sorry.
Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy from Kansas City. I think those would have been 2 of the best offensive minds. And obviously with Joe Judge, he lasted 2 seasons. He's a former special teams assistant. So we talked in one episode about special teams coaches not getting head coaching jobs. Joe Judge was one that actually was a former special teams assistant as well. And then before that, they had Ben McAdoo, who we're going to mention him in just a moment. But so he was an offensive guy, but obviously both of them only lasting 2 seasons. I think that New York Giants fans have something to maybe be excited about in this hire, so we'll have to see how that goes.
I mean,
Also,
yeah, hopefully. I mean, I kind of hope it doesn't go well for them, obviously. But
obviously you
I'm
do.
kind of biased there.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, if I wasn't, I would say, yeah. I mean, hopefully, I hope things go
It
well
seems
for
like a
them
good
on a
football move.
non-biased level. I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It seems like a good football move.
yeah.
That's a very good way to put it. Because
Absolutely, absolutely. And then the Bears, in a little bit of a surprising move. I don't think Bears fans are going to be thrilled with this. Going with Matt Eberflus. You know,
another Matt. I don't
yeah,
know. It's weird. They
yeah,
drop one
yeah.
Matt for another Matt. It's like they just.
You replace the doormat with the new Matt, and I mean, hopefully this Matt Eberflus lasts more than 4 seasons. Eberflus has been the defensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts since 2018. He has kind of risen to fame in the last couple of years since they, it helps that they got DeForest Buckner from us. Obviously that helps, and they've got Darius. The Colts have a good defense. I mean, the Colts up until that last meltdown in Jacksonville, week week 18, really looked like they were going to be a playoff team. So a little bit unique though, because obviously I thought Chicago might go offensive mind to help young Justin Fields, but they go defensive. They obviously have a very strong defense to begin with. Maybe they just want to build off that, and I could see maybe Eberflus. Maybe they want to pair him with a veteran offensive coordinator. I could see them making that move. So we'll have to see what ends up happening there. And then the final of those 3 moves was the Broncos, and they made a move to hire former Packers offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett. And obviously Hackett has been instrumental in Green Bay for the last couple seasons in helping with the I don't know the insane offense that they have. Obviously Aaron Rodgers
I
winning.
was gonna say, I mean, it's mostly Aaron Rodgers, probably, but all right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and the other thing too is he doesn't call plays. It's Lafleur that calls plays.
Hmm.
So, but both Lafleur and Rodgers have before gone to bat and said that Nathaniel Hackett is tremendous in the preparation for game planning every week. So we'll see. Peyton Manning also went to bat once for Adam Gase, and
Oh
that went out.
God,
So just that,
Jesus.
that doesn't. So we'll remain to be seen how Hackett does in Denver. Denver, obviously, we mentioned this on the show a couple weeks ago. Number 3 ranked defense, but a lot of issues around the offense. They've got good players. They've got Noah Fant. They've got Cortland Sutton. They've got Jerry Jeudy, but they just have a big question mark at quarterback. Whether Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater, whether they go to the draft or try to get Aaron
Unless
as
they
a
get
free
Aaron
agent.
Rodgers,
Yeah,
maybe they're the
exactly.
top. They're
Oh,
the number one
that dude! How
apparently.
much sense would that make now that they just hired his former OC in
I mean,
Denver?
yeah, that would be
Yeah, I
crazy.
mean that. Yeah,
That'd be crazy.
straight. The stars are starting to align. But
Yeah, we got one other notable coaching move here, which kind of
yeah,
relates to Washington. I mean, I'm
yep,
sure most fans don't really give 2 shits to hear about it, but
yeah, he's back.
but
He
just to
resurfaced
mention,
and then yeah,
but the Panthers, after indicating they might hire former Washington head coach Jay Gruden, ugh,
yeah.
instead they hired former Giants head coach Ben McAdoo
Told you
for
we'd
their
mention him.
offensive coordinator position.
Yep,
So
former
yeah, I
former
mean,
Giants head man
I think they
resurfacing.
probably dodged the bullet there. I don't think you want to hire Jay Gruden personally, but
Jay last coached. He took this year off the NFL, but he last coached as the Jaguars OC last year, and was fired when Doug Marone and everybody else were fired for the Urban train,
mm,
and then they subsequently got fired. Um, but yeah, McAdoo, former Giants head coach for 2 seasons before the Joe Judge hiring. He was a consultant for I want to say the Cowboys this last season. McAdoo was. So we'll see what ends up happening with him. Yeah, Jay Gruden was in the running, but obviously got passed up for that job. We'll have to see if he gets any jobs elsewhere. But so far he
yeah, I'm
hasn't
sure
been
we'll
linked to
cover
anything.
that in the future if unfortunately, but if anything
Yeah.
does happen, well, I'm sure we'll mention it.
Yeah, and then just a couple of defensive coordinator changes real quick. I think we briefly touched on this last week, but Ken Norton, former 49ers linebacker, Ken Norton out after 4 seasons as defensive coordinator in Seattle, fired after Seattle has started to get a little bit worse in recent years on defense. Don Wink Martindale out as the Ravens defensive coordinator, also after 4 seasons, where the Ravens were one of the best defenses, and then this last season they actually finished 25th. So they went from, I think it was 7th best the season before to 7th worst. So not a good way you want to.
No, not the way you want to go.
Not the turnaround you want, yeah. And then Pittsburgh has had defensive coordinator Keith Butler retire after 7 seasons as the team's defensive coordinator and 19 seasons overall with the Steelers. So long time tenured assistant. So that's 2 AFC North teams right there in the Ravens and the Steelers looking for new defensive coordinators. So, but yeah, that's all the head coaching news we have for you. So get into some other stuff here. Next thing we're going to talk about is this past weekend's divisional round, and oh my fucking god, like what a is this the best divisional round of football ever? Maybe.
I mean, it just might be, honestly, considering. I mean, 3 of them were won with game-winning field goals, and then one won in overtime. Yeah. I mean, like you really couldn't ask for like a better
weekend. Yeah, insane. Yeah, I mean this. We'll go ahead and go through them and give each one of these games their just due. I mean, first of all, after not doing it for 31 years, they do it twice in the same postseason. The Cincinnati Bengals are going on.
I was going to say it's good. Yeah. It's nice to see a team that hasn't been usually the playoffs. It's always a lot of the same teams, and to see a team that's not a team you're used to seeing at all. Obviously, like you said, 31 years.
Yep.
Like it's nice to see that. So they beat the Titans
next year. Come on, Washington or Lions. Come on, like let's
I don't like how you put them in the same boat there, but all right.
I mean, no. So like they've both. It was in the 91 championship so they've both been at the longest. They're 30 years since the last NFC championship. So
I know. Thank you for the reminder.
I'm just saying that's why I put you in the same cat. I mean, you guys, I think, have obviously a significantly better team than the Lions. You guys have a better chance to get back.
Oh, absolutely. I would say a significantly better chance.
So
I'd say we're a much better team than the Lions. But.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. So in this game, I mean, the Bengals win 19-16.
Against the Titans, which I think most people expected the Titans to come on top. They had Derrick Henry back.
Yep.
They're coming off that bye, first seed.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure everybody was thinking Titans should definitely have this one.
Absolutely. But the guy with the biggest balls in the stadium, Evan Big Balls McPherson, kicking a 52-yarder with 4 seconds left. Evan McPherson, who I know we talked about it on an earlier show. I think he had hit like 8 or 9 field goals over 50 yards as a rookie this season. That kid is like, he's got ice in his damn veins. He's got no chill. I mean, like that was a solid pick by the Bengals. Solid pickup.
Absolutely.
That kid has kicked them right into the AFC Championship, where they now have a matchup with Mr. Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, I mean, like you said, you nailed the nail on the head with the Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry came back. We talked about what his workload would be. 20 carries, 62 yards, and a touchdown, 3.1 yards per carry. So, I mean, he got a decent workload.
Not a strong game for him. He got a good workload, but not a good game.
Yeah, I mean, first football he's played in several months, not what you'd expect. I mean, that coupled with the fact that Tannehill was 15 out of 24, 220 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. Tannehill just
considering it was his first game back, you could see maybe why he wouldn't quite have a stellar game. Maybe he wasn't entirely.
Yeah, the man was playing with a bone in his foot. So I mean, we gotta give props, to.
Or was it a metal fragment or a steel?
It's steel plate in his foot.
Steel plate. That's what you said. A bone in his foot. And like, what? Everyone's got bones in their feet.
He's got a lot of bones in his feet, probably. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's in there. That steel plate. But yeah, Joe Burrow, another solid game, 28 of 37, 348, no touchdowns, but 1 interception. But I mean, obviously, not a super high scoring game, but they did get the job done. Next game we will touch on briefly here is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills. And I think that this one, of all of them, this one might have been the best.
Yeah, there's like a running joke going around where it's like, they're canceling the Super Bowl. It's just going to be the best of 7 between the Chiefs and the Bills.
Shit, I'd watch it.
Considering how that game went, it's like honestly, though, you could really say that about almost any of these 4 games. I mean, that game, though, in particular, how the high scoring and the action that was
Yeah.
involved. Like all the games were close, but like you take the Niners Packers game, like it was close, but it was not exciting.
Right.
That was not a game that you would refer to as other than that block punt, which we'll get into. I didn't mean to jump into that.
No. You're fine. We're it's gonna get handled. But yeah. So this game definitely, I think, the most exciting. I mean, both quarterbacks, and I mean, this has always been a thing, right? It's like who's got the bigger arm, Mahomes or Josh Allen? You know, it's always been the debate. We've talked about it.
And they're both pretty mobile too. It's not just the
pretty
arm
mobile.
strength. I mean, they're Mahomes is probably a bit faster, I would assume, but
yeah. So I mean, you've got your Tom Brady and you've got your Aarons, and those guys are both probably at the top of the quarterback, top of the quarterback mountain. But these are the guys that are probably going to be like running the NFL for the next 10 to 12 years. I mean, these are
absolutely.
like probably the elite.
I was going to say those two are on their way out.
1A and 1B right here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So these are going to be, I think, like our next. I mean, I don't want to say that they're going to be Brady and Rodgers, but these guys are probably going to be, our next.
Well, I mean,
I mean,
unless there's
Mahomes,
some other people that come out. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes and even Josh Allen, both of them.
Insane. Yeah.
Exactly. Patrick Mahomes, literally, he's going to be another time. As long as he doesn't get injured, or if he manages to keep playing season after season and plays for 10 years, he's going to be another Tom Brady. I mean, maybe not quite, not the same level, and no one's going to ever, I don't think anybody will ever touch Tom Brady's records in terms of his Super Bowls and all, and his playoff appearances. And
well, Mahomes could get to another one right here, and that'd be 3 straight. I mean,
that is true. I guess that is true.
Another one. I mean, that'd be, because he's 1 game away. Although the Bengals did beat the Chiefs.
But that's only one record, though. If you maybe more Super Bowls, but Tom Brady is going to be 45, man. I mean, any of his records that he's got are going to be really, and he's played most every year that he's been in the league. So it's not
just
like
1 season.
Yeah, 1 season out of 20 plus. It's just like, oof, it's gonna be tough for anyone to top that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, these quarterbacks. I mean, take your pick on which one played better. I mean, Mahomes. let me give you the numbers here, and we'll throw them on the screen as we always do. Mahomes 33 of 44, 378 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Mahomes on the ground, 7 carries, 69 yards, 1 touchdown. So 4 touchdowns total. Josh Allen, 27 of 37, 329 yards. 4 touchdowns passing, 0 interceptions, 11 carries on the ground, 68 yards. So they both have about
their
70
stats are like almost the
exactly.
same. Like
4 touchdowns apiece, about 68, 70 rushing yards apiece. Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, pretty close, pretty damn close. So I mean, and the game reflected that. The game absolutely reflected that. So the Bills were up 36-33. And Mahomes drives them into range with a pass down to about the 25-yard line to Travis Kelce. And Kelce had another great game. I mean, let's give it up for the receivers in this game. Tyreek Hill, 11 catches, 150 yards, and a touchdown. Kelce had 8 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown. The game winner, actually. And for Buffalo, Gabriel Davis, who, most people probably have never even heard of, 8 catches, 201 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
I was going to say, I've never heard that name before, so you were correct.
I mean, they only threw to Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders had 1 catch for 16 yards, Cole Beasley 6 for 60, and Stephon Diggs 3 catches for 7 yards. So it was really Gabriel Davis that killed him. Yeah. So anyway, Mahomes gets him into, field goal range. Harrison Butker tying the game up with ice in his veins again, another strong kicking performance to tie the game at 36-all. Game goes to overtime, and coin toss, right? So what do? I personally, every time in Madden, anytime in like a real football game that I've ever been given any type of like recommendation or suggested influence in a coin toss, I've always gone heads. Well, so did Patrick Mahomes, and it was heads, and the Chiefs got the ball. And Josh Allen never touched the ball in overtime, as Mahomes proceeded to go right down the damn field on one drive, and with ice-like precision in his veins on a 9-play, 75-yard drive, hit Kelce for an 8-yard game-winning touchdown to give the Chiefs a 42-36 win over the Bills and send the Chiefs to their third straight AFC championship, where they will play the Bengals. And as I was mentioning before, these two teams did meet in the regular season towards the end of the season. I don't know if you remember the game, but the Bengals actually did win. So the Bengals do have the firepower to beat the Chiefs. They pulled off a 34-31 win in the regular
Yeah, I
season.
think both of these upcoming games are going to be very interesting.
Absolutely, absolutely. Can't wait for this upcoming weekend. The next one we will cover is, just for the sake of, lack of luster on it, is, although it meant the most to me, I will say, but the Niners coming up with a 13-10 win over the Packers. Definitely, as far as the divisional games go, probably the least exciting of the four, but still a
Yeah.
close game.
Until that punt block, really, it was pretty lackluster the whole
Yeah,
game.
I mean, if
It
you
was
like
like
defensive football, then I mean, a great game. But
yeah,
it's probably in a Niners win, probably the least. I mean, 13 points is the least we've scored in a win all season. We had 212 total yards. I guarantee you that's probably the lowest we've had in a win all season. Usually Kyle Shanahan, if we're winning, we've got over 400 yards of offense, maybe even
part of
more.
that had to be the weather, I think,
Oh,
as well.
absolutely. Kickoff temperatures.
Probably a big part of it.
Yeah, kickoff temperatures were about 0 degrees.
Yeah,
Might have
that's
even dropped a
insane.
couple degrees below at various points. And then in the second half, snow did start to fall. So yeah, it was a game that the Niners did pull out a 13-10 win. Only 2 total touchdowns scored. One on the first play of the drive when the Packers went right down and scored. Made it look like the game might be
Yeah,
an
that was
offensive
a
shootout.
fucking rough start, dude. I was like, oh, this is not what you want to see.
Yeah. But
Not
then, I
what you
mean,
want
the
to see.
defense came together after that, and they played their
Yeah,
ass off for the
definitely.
rest of the game.
Absolutely. It was just initially, when
Yeah.
it started, and then they just go right down the field. You're like,
Yeah.
dude, fuck. I was like, man, they're just gonna work our asses in this cold weather. That's what's gonna happen here. But it's not what happened, thankfully.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, it wasn't until the third quarter when we would block a punt. And let's see here. It was actually blocked by Jordan Willis and recovered in the end zone by Talanoa Hufanga, our rookie. So they blocked Bororquez his punt. So they ended up scoring, and that would make the game 10-10. And then with again no time left on the clock, the Niners would drive, and obviously Jimmy didn't play a good game. I don't think anybody's going to say that he did, but I mean, Aaron definitely outplayed him in the poor weather. But Aaron didn't even have a great game. So I mean, like the 2 quarterback numbers, I mean, for the day.
Although that is expected given the weather, but
Yeah.
it's one of those things where like, how does Jimmy keep doing this, man?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Jimmy 11 for 19, 131 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick. Didn't end up costing us though, fortunately. Aaron was 20 of 29, 225 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions.
Well, yeah, Aaron slaughtered him in terms of numbers.
Yeah, but I mean, Aaron threw more, and I mean, Aaron's also started like over 30 games in. They put the stat up in the beginning of the game. Aaron started like over 30 games in temperatures where the temperature is below 0 or 0 or below, and Jimmy's got 0 starts in the NFL like that. That was his first one.
Oh wow!
And he got the win. He's 1-0. He's 1-0 in the poor weather. I mean,
which is surprising.
Yeah.
You would not have expected that.
He didn't have a great game. I mean, but
no, he did not. Well, the Niners won it. Jimmy didn't necessarily win the game. I mean, the Niners won the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when he needed to, on the last play of the game, last drive of the game, we had a 44-yard drive, and he did make a couple of nice throws. He hit Kittle for a 12-yard completion, and he hit Debo for a 14-yard completion on that drive. So a couple nice plays to get the Niners down into field goal range for a 45-yard Robbie Gould field goal. Who, I mean, we got to give it up to Robbie. I mean, Robbie, between the what he did in Dallas last week, going 3 for 3 on field goals, and then going 2 for 2 in this game, I want to say that makes him 21 for 21 now in the postseason. I mean, Robbie is insane.
Damn,
I mean,
that is insane.
That guy is, and next to Justin Tucker, he's the highest paid kicker in the NFL. That's why he fucking earns that money. I mean, he's got He's got no fear, man. He's been in this situation before. But yeah, we're going on to the NFC Championship game to play the Rams for the third time this season, and I guess that'll get us into our
Yeah.
last game.
Speaking of the Rams,
Yep.
the Rams coming out on top over the Bucks, which
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch this game, the way it played out, what was it, 27
It was 27-3 for a while.
27
So
to 3, right?
it looked like the Rams were running away with it.
Yeah, Tom Brady and the Bucks were just shit in the bed, and it's one of those things you're like, man, this is odd.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't have expected, and then somehow, Tom lights that magic on and starts coming back.
This is exactly why you can never count out Tom Brady, bud. I mean, like they scored 10 in the third quarter, 14 in the fourth quarter, and after only scoring 3 points in the entire first half. Yeah, Tom really wasn't looking good. I mean, Tom ended up chucking up the rock 54 times. He was 30 of 54, 329 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. But Fournette got 2 touchdowns on the ground. So, I mean, Tom put him in position throwing that much. Stafford 28 of 38, 366, 2 touchdowns, no picks. So, yeah, I mean, it was one of those games where it's like, wow, I mean, is he really going to do this again? I mean, that's why you could never count him out, because he's the fucking GOAT, dude, as far as that goes. I mean, you can say what you will. Not everybody likes Tom Brady, and I definitely get that. But, I mean, that's why he does that. I mean, he's
Yeah, as that game progressed and as the score, they continued to get closer and closer and closer. I'm like looking at the time. I'm like, oh my fucking God,
is
it's not
this going to
over.
happen? Yeah.
I was like, it's not over yet.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And like, they didn't get it, unfortunately, because I mean, I kind of wanted them to win, because then it would be the Niners coming to Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been more excited about that. And honestly, like, I think that with our pass rush and our defense, I mean, obviously, like, I have tremendous respect for what Tom Brady can do, and it would have been a very tough test on us. But even with our history against the Rams, it is very hard to beat a team 3 times in the same season.
And the Rams look really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to say that, but Jesus Christ, like,
Yeah.
they look really good.
Yeah, I mean, they bulldozed the Cardinals.
They look like a Super Bowl team, really.
I mean, in the playoffs they beat the Cardinals up, and then they beat the Bucks pretty convincingly, at least for a while, until the Bucks started to put the.
Yeah, that's true. Their defense kind of fell apart for a bit, I guess, when the Bucks.
I mean, and if you think about it, though, that may happen again, because the Rams did at week 18 have a 17-point lead against the Niners before the collapse started. So, I mean, maybe that defense will, that vaunted Rams defense with all the acquisitions, the Jalen Ramsey, the Aaron Donalds, the Von Millers, all the guys that you went out and got. And, I mean, if it really doesn't matter. I mean, like I said before, the 6 straight wins we have against them don't matter if we don't get this one, but we'll have to see. But you're right. The Rams do look like they could be a Super Bowl team again. I mean, they look pretty good.
Yes, they do. They do. And we will definitely cover the last 2 remaining
2 games left, and then the
championship games coming up.
3, so 3 actual games left of football, and then we're probably going to be covering some Arena League shit.
Unless you count the Pro Bowl, which they may not even have, but that doesn't fucking count.
We're not covering the Pro Bowl. I mean, we've told you who from the Niners and Washington got into the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, it's like, if you want to watch the Pro Bowl, watch the Pro Bowl. That's on.
that's on you. I mean.
It's like, I may or may not. If I got something else to do, I probably won't.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, so I mean, we're running out of weeks of football. I mean, pretty soon we're probably going to be covering the damn USFL and maybe the XFL. The XFL's coming back. I'm excited. I'm excited about that. But yeah, so that recaps the divisional round. Hell of a week of games. Obviously. Yeah, did we mention that Matt Gay won it with a walk-off 30-yard field goal for that game for the Rams? I don't know if we did, but
I actually don't think we did.
Yeah, so Matt Gay hit the 30-yarder to walk off to give the Rams a 30-27 win over the Bucks. Tom Brady not quite able to get it done, although almost. If there would have been 5 more minutes in that game, I think.
If he was only 43, not 44, maybe he could have done it.
Shit, I think he had a hell of a season. I think.
It was a joke, obviously.
Yeah. I think as he's getting older, he's playing better, which is insane.
Yeah, right. I don't know how he's still. How's that hip not broken yet, man? Like, God, I'm watching the games and like seeing him fall down after taking hits. I'm like, God damn, bro, you're like, how?
Yeah, He's a pretty tough guy. I mean, despite that, I mean, obviously he gets some calls, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't still get hit all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's Redskins Rundown, and possibly would be the last calling it the Redskins Rundown, as this would be the last show before the new name is announced. I'm sure, as some of you have heard, there's been some leaks with that. It seems to be like it's going to be Commanders. So we'll see if that's the case or not. Could maybe call it the Commanders Countdown, not, for a new name, but we could. But yeah, we'll talk about that more after it's actually announced. But I just figured I would touch on that. There's been some rumors, so
absolutely.
That's only a few days away now. So
yeah, by this
big
time
news
next
coming.
week we'll have a name, and then we'll actually have something more to report on. But we wanted to give you fine fans of Washington. Hello, Roscoe. We wanted to give you.
Got my
Roscoe
dog
as
trying
well.
to get under the blanket back
Wanted
there.
to give you Roscoe entertainment as always.
Hey, let me just help him get under there real quick.
Of course, he likes it. It's cold. It's a cold night in Florida.
He's part dachshund, so they do that. But
yeah.
Other than the name news,
so we're gonna give you
we're not playing. So there's obviously there's not a whole ton of other stuff going on, but there's a lot of free agents coming up in this off season.
I want to say it was like 32. 32. Washington has 32 players set to
Jesus,
be.
Is it 32? All right. Well, I'm not gonna go. There's a couple names I may skip on this list, or go over quickly if it's 32. Jesus Christ, is it 32 really? Damn.
Let me see.
I didn't realize it was that many.
Hold on. Let me I had the damn thing up.
All right. Well, while you find that, I'll start going down this list here. Some of them. All right. Well, beginning, we got Brandon Scherff. Given the fact that he denied a record deal, I think it might be foreseeable that he may not come back. Which, depending on how you look at it, could be a good or a bad thing. And save some cap space, which would be nice. But I think, given the way that it looks, there's a chance that he won't be back. I think it'd be good if they could get him back, but I think that's the way it looks right now.
Yeah, and I know we've touched on this briefly, and we won't spend too much time on this specifically, but I think we've talked about the fact that Scherff is a guard, and I think it's been reported that it's not, and a lot of people kind of shit on him because they're like, oh, he wants out of Washington. I think he wants to be in Washington. I just think he wants tackle money, and I think that's the issue. I don't usually tackles make a little bit more than guards do. So I think that's the angle. But yeah, we'll have to see because obviously the line's a lot better when he's in there.
So yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It would be ideal to keep him, but just given the way things look, I don't necessarily expect it. But yeah, we'll definitely have to see.
I think you definitely got to get this next guy back, J.D. McKissick.
Absolutely, I was going to say the next guy here is essential. Absolutely essential. Yeah. His pass catching ability, yes, absolutely. J.D. McKissick needs to come back.
He's a
100%.
Dynamic. I remember.
There's like not even a question on
I'll never
forget. He's one of these. I'll
never forget the screen that he caught from Taylor against the Falcons when he took it up the field and beat the Falcons in early part of the season. Yeah, so I mean he's really proven his reliability as a
absolutely.
Weapon. So I think that you've got to go ahead and definitely make the attempt to get him back.
I 100% want him, and I also 100% expect him to be back. So yeah. I think that's enough. Both on that.
I think you'd have to be insane to let him
exactly.
Back. I mean,
exactly.
I don't think the front office can do that.
Now this next one, kind of a joke. Ryan Fitzpatrick, free agent.
He's not coming back.
He's not coming back.
Let's be real.
That was a fucking waste of $10 million.
We saw enough in the 2 series of Ryan, and obviously who knows what's going on. Who knows if he got hurt on the water slide? Who knows?
That's the story. He apparently did,
that's
but
the story. I mean, getting fucked up on a water slide with your kids at the water park when you got to go play quarterback.
On to some actual Washington players since fucking he really was.
He's not coming back.
Yeah, we got John Bostic. What are your thoughts on John?
So Bostic was good when he was in there before, and I mean obviously linebacker is a position of need that they've had, especially because we don't know what Jamin's going to be exactly yet. I mean we know what we got in Cole. I think we got a good player in Holcomb. Definitely. So I don't think that they need to address that, but I think that with him, Bostic's been out like he missed damn near what was it like almost the whole season. I
Yeah,
think
he's been out a lot, and I was gonna say in the past he used to be. I was more confident but now it's getting to a point where like I mean I don't know, I'm not sure what he makes exactly, but I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't come back.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't see him, be like a salary cap casualty, especially if that's a position that Ron and Jack Del
Right.
Rio think that they can address in the
I know we do
draft.
need linebackers though, so that would be the main reason I think that he probably would return. But unless they got something, somebody
Yeah,
to
let
fill
me
that
um
position.
let
But
me look at two things here. One, I want to see what because I want to say like he either got hurt in the preseason or like he played. Okay, so he played in one. Okay, yeah. So Bostic got hurt in the Atlanta game, so he played like 4 games this season.
that one really is kind of wait and see. Maybe
Yeah,
maybe they'll keep him, maybe they won't. If they don't,
I mean Seals Jones has kind of been a journeyman tight end throughout his career. He spent some time with the Chiefs earlier. I mean, this season in 13 games, he caught 30 passes for 271 yards and 2 touchdowns. So at times he looked pretty good. And then he also had some injuries at points and then ended up being lost for the season. But yeah, I mean, I think that whether he comes back really depends on. I mean, obviously you've got Logan Thomas, and I think even John Bates showed that he can be the number 2 tight end. So I think
yeah,
that really depends on if they draft another tight end or get somebody in free agency, whether we'll see him back. But I think that it's entirely possible that Ricky Seals Jones doesn't come back.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's more likely that he doesn't than he does. But like
Yeah.
like you said, it really just depends on the acquisitions that they can get,
Yeah,
between the
then there's
draft and free
also
agency.
yeah, exactly. And then there's also Troy Apke, who basically didn't play a defensive snap all season, but made his value in the special teams department. So he did prove to be reliable in special teams. Ron has mentioned that he does like what Apke brings to the table on special teams, which is really his speed, more specifically. I mean, the guy's like insanely fast.
Yeah.
Um, Also, pleasant surprise of the off season, or of the season was they had to start 4 different players at center. One of them that really stepped up was Tyler Larson. He ended up playing pretty good as a depth piece, and he is going to be a free agent. So I think that he would be somebody good to bring back, especially. I don't remember when they lost. Shit. Why can't I remember Washington's starting center's name right now?
Chase Roulier.
Roulier. Yeah, Chase Roulier. Yeah. I was like, I don't remember what week they lost Roulier. But they
I'm
had,
not sure either.
Keith Ismail, they had Tyler Larson, and then they had
What
John
was the other
Toth.
guy's name?
John Toth.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. So they had a lot of different guys in there at center. So I think that you got to bring back at least one or two of those guys as a depth move. And then
Hmm.
um, DeAndre Carter, definitely need him back.
Yeah,
That's the other one I wanted to mention.
as well as Adam Humphries.
Yeah, yeah, both of those
We're
guys.
talking about wide receivers. I would
Yeah,
say
yeah,
both of those
yeah.
guys have a very high chance of coming back. I mean,
Both
Adam
of those
Humphries, he
guys.
only runs the one route every time, but
Yeah,
but damn, he's good at running
yeah,
that one route.
yeah. Both of those guys outplayed, Cam Sims, De'Ami Brown, and Curtis Samuels because he couldn't get on the field. But DeAndre Carter,
Yeah.
he's valuable for a lot of reasons. He kind of started to play more of like, obviously he's not as big as
Kick
Debo, but
returning.
kind of like that Debo Samuel role of like running
Okay, yeah,
running
yeah.
some
They
stuff out
did
of the
it. They did that
backfield.
with him a bit. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. They did.
So he had 24 catches, 296 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But he also had 16 punt returns for 134 yards and 36 kick returns for 904 yards and a touchdown. And he actually got a Pro Bowl vote as an alternate for Washington.
Nice.
So they definitely need to re-sign him because he makes the return game much better. Humphries
Hmm.
actually came in second as far as the wide receivers go. He caught 40 passes, which was second most to Terry McLaurin, and was a huge asset on third downs.
Yeah,
Like you
that's why I
said,
expect he'll be back. I think they want to keep him around, given just what he provides.
And what Humphries did is something he couldn't do for the past couple seasons. Is he stayed healthy for a full 17-game season, so he was active for every
Oh
single
yeah,
game.
well,
So
fucking awesome. I think he'll be back,
that'll
and
earn
I
him a
hope he's back.
Yeah, I think that'll earn him another 1-year deal. Probably come right back, which will
Absolutely.
be good.
Yeah. A couple other ones left here. I'd say one of the actually pretty big one, Tim Settle.
Big Tim. It's funny. I was thinking. Are you thinking about Big Tim?
Can't forget Tim Settle, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say he's coming back. Absolutely. I mean, the way he stepped up. Absolutely. That's definitely one that I would be surprised to see otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, I really like Tim Settle a lot. Obviously, the one thing that he didn't have going for him was the fact that he's playing further down on the depth. So I've got a count here for the Washington defensive tackle snap counts. Deron Payne led all Washington defensive tackles with 812 snaps. John Allen had 741 defensive snaps. Matt Ioannidis had 583, and Tim Settle came in last with 204. He still had production in combined for 7 sacks between 2019 and 2020, but he did have 0 sacks in 2021, although he did make other key plays. He made a lot of big plays in that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, it's not all about one stat, because I think there's a lot of different times where
he's like your DJ Jones, where he doesn't get a lot of sack numbers, but he's just like a heart and soul player that's essential towards that defensive line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's pretty much just we got Joey Sly, who's a free agent.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I imagine.
I imagine he'll be back. I mean, if they didn't re-sign Joey Sly, that would be. Yeah.
I mean, you go through the season with 4 different kickers.
Yeah, and you find one, a freaking big ass linebacker, like Jesus
Johnson. Then you get Joey Sly, and
yeah.
In his games he was 12 for 12, and then an extra point. So, knock on Joey Sly, guy's got a huge leg, but he does tend to miss some extra points. But I mean, going 12 for 12, and then I think he was like 3 for 3 with the Niners too. So I mean, he just had a really good season field goal wise. So I'd be shocked. Yeah. I mean, he's only 25 years old. I'd be shocked if they don't bring him back.
Yeah, I really hope that they
the kicker
do.
Position. Oh, absolutely.
Definitely. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, Kyle Allen's a free agent, but we're not even gonna. If they re-sign Kyle Allen, we'll find out later. We don't even need to.
I mean, you assume if they're bringing in another quarterback, because they're probably keeping Taylor as the backup. You assume if they're probably bringing in another quarterback, Kyle Allen's probably not coming back. Although maybe Kyle Allen stays on as the third behind.
Isn't Taylor on like a 2-year deal? Actually, I think he comes back for sure next season.
Yeah,
so.
Taylor's coming back.
Yeah. So. But yeah, so if Kyle Allen comes back, I'm sure nobody particularly wants to see that, but we'll see. But
yeah, Taylor's coming back next year on his 1.5 million salary. So I mean,
good for Taylor.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, next episode is definitely going to be covering the new name and try and contain the disappointment. I guess.
I mean, more than likely.
More than likely,
but yeah. I mean, some people will like it. It'll make some people happy.
I really genuinely hope that some people do actually like it. Like at least some can like it. Hopefully, yeah. It's probably take a good 2 years for that shit to grow on me.
Yeah.
That's what happened with the Washington football team stuff. Now I'm like, oh no, I like it. This is fine, and so we'll see how it goes, but.
Exactly. Well, join us next week and we will reveal the name.
Yep.
Hey, thanks for joining us this week on the Niners News Update. We are bound for the NFC Championship game again for the second time here in 3 years. That is an exciting day for all us faithful. We're going on after it wasn't the most exciting and pretty football game we've ever played, but 13-10 win over the Green Bay Packers.
A win's a win. So yes,
sure
it was not a pretty game at all.
only 2 total touchdowns scored in the entire game. One on the opening drive when Aaron and the Packers marched right down like they were gonna, do it all game, and scored on an
Hmm.
A.J. Dillon 6-yard rushing touchdown. Then really nothing happened for a long time. Really, really not much. It was, as they say, defense wins championships, and our defense played. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the defense playing their ass off. This defense coming in with the longest consecutive streak of games with 3 or more sacks coming into play. Aaron, and guess what happened? Guess what happened? How many times do you think we sacked Aaron?
I think it was 5.
It was five. It was five.
Oof.
Nicholas Bosa got 2. Samson Ibukam got 1. And Eric Armstead. And Eric Armstead got like 3.5 sacks all the regular season. I think he's got like 5 sacks in the postseason. Eric Armstead is
Jesus.
saving his best football for, when we need it
Hell
the most.
yeah.
So I was like, atta boy, atta boy. Yeah, so now, we've gotten past the number one offense in the league, the number one seed in the league, or the number one seed in, yeah, no, the number one seed overall, because technically, even though Green Bay was the number one NFC seed, they had one more win than the Titans, so they would have been the number one overall seed. So we knocked out the number one overall seed, held him to 10 points. Aaron Rodgers in the weather that he plays in all the time. Like 0 degrees at kickoff temperature. Jimmy making 0 career starts in weather that cold. But, Jimmy played a pretty rough game. He didn't look good. Only 19 pass attempts, 11 to 19, 131, no touchdowns, 1 pick. Aaron did play a lot better, 20 of 29, 225, no touchdowns, no picks. But the only touchdown Green Bay got was that opening rushing touchdown, and the only touchdown we got was a
was
third
off a
quarter
punt
blocked punt.
block.
Yeah. So Bororquez going back there to the punt, and then all of a sudden Jordan Willis, big reserve lineman, getting his big ass mitt up there, blocking the punt, and then Talanoa Hufanga. That name's
I
so
love
fun
seeing
to
that
say.
name pop up on
Yeah,
the screen.
Talanoa
It's always great.
Hufanga. Yeah, and who's providing immediate rookie dividends. Scooped it up and ran it in for the touchdown to make it a 10-10 game. And then, Jimmy did struggle, but on the final drive, we took the ball 44 yards. He was 2 for 2 on that drive, hitting Kittle for 12 yards and Debo for 14, getting us in range for a 45-yard, good as gold field goal attempt by Robbie Gould, who is now 21 for 21 in the. I don't even want to talk about it because, I just feel like if I talk about it too much, it's
Yeah,
gonna.
yeah. Maybe you shouldn't actually,
I'm,
because
I'm
you
just
need him
yeah.
to do that another 2 times.
I
Hopefully,
know, I know. Robbie's got 2 more games that he's got to come out and kick the shit out of the football. Now, one of those games. Actually, you know what? Both of those games are going to be in sunny Los Angeles, so fuck it. Robbie just went out there and kicked an ice ball through the goddamn uprights that had to have fucking hurt the shit out of his foot when he drilled that ball. But did you hear what he said in the post-game press conference? He walked up to the podium and first thing he said was "Feels great, baby." He hit him with the
Really?
Jimmy. Yeah, he hit him with the Jimmy. And after the game, dude, they show Jimmy walk up to Robbie on the field. Robbie's holding the game ball because Robbie's got the ball that he kicked through the uprights to lead him to the NFC Championship. So why wouldn't he keep it? Robbie's holding the ball. Jimmy walks up to him, shakes his hand, gives him a hug. He's like, "You're a fucking legend, man." And I was like, all right. Oh, yeah. But I just love how close this team is, dude. We're going into this game a little bit banged up. Trent Williams questionable. I don't think there's any way in hell that Trent's going to miss the NFC Championship game, though. I think that man.
Yeah, unless he just literally cannot play, he's probably going to be out there.
Yeah, I would. It would take a hell of a. He didn't practice on Friday, so that he didn't practice all week, but. I think he's going to give it a good effort, and we need him. Although we didn't have him week 18 against the Rams, and they still didn't get any sacks. I think you remember we started Colton McKivitz. Remember we talked about that, and Colton McKivitz filled in admirably. And we've also had Jalen Moore step up. Tom Compton's been stepping up. That our offensive line, we talked about Washington's offensive line kicking ass. The Niners' offensive line doing a pretty good job as well, and we needed to. Against the Rams, because the Rams have only gotten, you're right, you nailed it earlier. They've looked good in both playoff games. 34-11 to the Cardinals, 30-27 to the Bucks. They've turned it on in the postseason, and
Yeah.
Odell's starting to look good. Vaughn's starting to look good. So I mean, we just really need to come out here and get this win. I mean, the sixth straight really doesn't matter if we can't come out and get this one. I mean, it's
Yep, that's
trip to the
true.
bowl on the line, man. This is what it comes down to.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna have to see. Also, Ambry Thomas is a little banged up. Elijah Mitchell's been banged up all season, but I think everybody's gonna play. I mean, we need everybody. I mean, all hands on deck to beat the Rams. It's hard to beat a team. I've talked to you about this. Last year with the Bucks and Saints. Remember the Saints beat the shit out of the Bucks twice, and then in Breeze's last game. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bucks sent Breeze home in the playoffs when it mattered. So those 2 wins in the regular season don't mean shit if we can't win this one. So, I mean, I think we will. I have a lot of confidence in the team. I mean, we did get a fortunate draw in the Rams. Obviously, might have their number.
Hopefully.
I'm hoping so, man. I'm nervous though. I mean, it's
I mean,
hard
you
when
should be, man. The Rams
Yeah.
look like a goddamn monster of a team. Like it's gonna be a rough. It's gonna be a good game, I would expect.
It is gonna be a good game, yeah, man. I'm excited to. And then honestly, oh man, and then if we get past that one, I'm really hoping we don't see Mahomes, dude.
I know, dude. Hopefully it's the Bengals.
I need Joey Burrow to just deal for me. I need young Joseph Burrow, the young Tiger.
Imagine if it is the Chiefs again and they win
No,
again, dude.
no,
Oh
no,
my
no, no,
fucking
no, no,
god.
no. Kyle, if we get the Chiefs again, Kyle cannot let up on the gas. Like we can't play that conservative fourth quarter shit where we let them come back in.
If that happens again, I'm just gonna, I don't know, bash my head into the ball a good 20 times.
Dude, I was fucking depressed for like months, like consecutive months after that last game, dude. I can't.
That was rough, dude. And that was right. That was when I first started like watching the Niners with you and getting into the Niners and like that season, and then they make it to the Super Bowl, and then I was so into that game, and then it's like, oh. Terrible.
It was.
Fucking, what was it? 7 minutes left.
Yeah, it was the collapse, bud. It was fucking.
Like
we celebrated in the end zone after that turnover, I remember, and then like all of a sudden Patrick Mahomes started like coming back, and
he's like, "You motherfuckers in trouble now."
They didn't do anything against us for 3 quarters, dude. Like 3.5 quarters, really. But
fucking crazy.
But I think Bosa's he's a much different pass rusher now too in year 3. So we've also got a more mature Mahomes, but we've got a more mature pass rushing Nick Bosa too. So it's like we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. We're gonna recap the game. Obviously, NFC Championship weekend, is upon us. Go Niners. We got to get this win.
Hell yeah. See you next week.
We're taking over Levi's South. I really hope that it's just a sea of red out there. And honestly, Kelly and Matthew Stafford can go cry about that on their podcast about how they had to run the silent count the whole game and Jimmy didn't. But Jimmy deals against the Rams. I will say that. He hasn't been doing much in recent weeks, only 19 pass attempts. I look for Jimmy to have a better game. And we talked about how Kittle didn't do much in the last game. What did I tell you? I was like, I think that this could be Kittle's game. Of all the Niners receivers, Kittle led 4 catches, 63 yards against the Packers. So
coming up a bit.
Yeah. But join us next week. Go Niners.
Yep.
Everybody have a
See you next week.
We need to get this win. And that is going to do it for this week on the Extra Point Show. Thanks again for joining us here. As always, we appreciate you. And if you're not already, make sure that you like and subscribe and follow us on all the various social medias that we'll have on the screen here. And have a good night. It's championship weekend, so hopefully we've got another great weekend of football ahead of us.
If it's anything like this past weekend, I'm sure it will be. So looking forward to it.
Good night, everybody.
Night.